Hello, let us look at the questions from 2005B. Here comes the first one. A scout troop buys 1,000 candy bars at the price of 5 for $2. So we have 1,000 cookies, but 5 for $2. Okay, in that case, how much would have costed the scout to buy 1,000 cookies? So all we have to do is we realize that we get 1,000 from 5 by multiplying by 200. So we have to multiply by 200 on the other side. Now, then once we do that, then we get $400. So in other words, $400 will be the cost. Now, but how much are they selling? So let us try to look into this one. We are selling 1,000 candy bars, but selling 2 per $1. So therefore, from 2 to 1,000, we have to multiply that by 500. So when you multiply 1 by 500, then we get $500. So in other words, $400 was the cost, and then we raised $500. So therefore, profit would have been $100. All right, let's move on to the next question, number 2. A positive number x has a property that x% of x is 4. So x per means to divide, cent means 100. Of means multiplication of x is equal to 4. Alright, what does that mean? This basically means x squared over 100 equals 4. By cross multiplying them, we get x squared must be equal to 400. Then what is the value of x? X must be equal to 20. And that's what we can do. Alright, let's move on to the next question, number 3. A gallon of paint is used to paint the room. 1/3 of the paint is used on the first day. Now, on the second day, 1/3 of the remaining was used. On the second day. Now, how are we going to calculate this one? One easy way for us to think about is look at the denominators. We have 3 and then 3. So what if we assume the multiples of 3, such as maybe 9? The total would be 9. Then on the first day we used 1/3, then basically means we are subtracting 3. 3 is 1/3 of 9, so we are left with 6 gallons. But on the second day we used 1/3 of 6. That means 2 will be the 1/3 of 6. So subtracting that, then we are left with 4 gallons. Then the question here is this: what fraction of the original amount of the paint is still available? So 4 gallons is available out of 9. So choice D becomes our answer. Alright, let's look at number 4 here. You see that this binary operation here, A star B, A rhombus B, is square root of A squared plus B squared. Now, this looks quite interesting because this looks like a Pythagorean theorem, or you can even consider this one as a distance formula. Then what is the value of this one, for example? Alright, if you remember Pythagorean triple, 5, 12, then it becomes 13, so you know that this must be 13. In this case, we realize that the negative numbers has been in place, plugged into in place of A and B, but since we are squaring them, whether you put negative numbers or positive numbers, it doesn't really matter, and this also becomes 13. Then imagine if two values are 13 in the distance formula, what will be the distance? Essentially, it will be 13 square root of 2. Therefore, our answer will be choice D. Number 5. Brianna is using the part of the money she earned on her weekend job to buy several equally priced CD. She used 1/5 of her money to buy 1/3 of CD. What fraction of her money will she have left after she buys all the CDs? So that means by ratio we get to realize instead of buying 1/3, we have to buy entire CD. That means we have to multiply that by 3. Then if you multiply this one by 3, then you get to realize that she would have spent 3/5 of her money. That means how much is left? 2/5 is left. Number 6. At the beginning of the school year, Lisa's goal was to earn A on at least 80% of 50 quizzes for the year. So that means, what is that? That's equal to 0.8 times 50 becomes 40. But she earned A on 22 of the first 30 quizzes. So 22 out of 30. Now, then we realize that she has 20 remaining. If she is to achieve her goal, at most, how many of her remaining quizzes can she earn a grade lower than A? So think about it. What if we were to call this one as X? Then when we add them up, it should be equal to 40. Then you can easily see that X has to be equal to 18. That means 18 out of 20, she has to get grade A or higher. So therefore, how many can she get lower? The answer is 2. Number 7, a circle is inscribed in a square. Okay, so let's try to draw a square and then circle inside of that. Okay, now after that, and then a square is inscribed in this circle. So we have another square. Okay, and then finally a circle is inscribed in this square. Okay, we have another square. Oops. All right, how about that? What is the ratio of the area of the smaller circle to the area of the larger square? So let's try to look into this one. What if I were to assume that the radius that's equal to 1? Then area of the small circle is equal to pi, because pi 1 squared is simply pi. But how about the large square? We realize that if that's equal to 1, then this must be equal to radical 2. Because 1, 1, radical 2. But we have to realize that this diagonal is in fact same thing as this one, because this diagonal, or part of the diagonal of the square, is in fact same thing as the radius of the bigger circle. So if I were to draw this diagonal into this way, then that becomes the half of the big square. So therefore, this becomes square root of 2. Then the entire side becomes 2 square root of 2. So the area of the big square is equal to 2 square root of 2. Square becomes simply 8. So what is the ratio of the area of the smaller circle to the larger square is pi to 8, which is pi over 8. All right, let us look at number 8. 8 foot by 10 foot floor is tiled with a square tile a size of 1 foot by 1 foot. So that's 1 foot by 1 foot. And then, so this is a radius is 1/2. We're looking for shaded area. So if you have to find the shaded area of one tile here, it would have been the square, which is area 1 minus. What is the area of these 4 quarter circles put together? That's pi times 1/2 square. In other words, this becomes 1 minus pi over 4. That's the area of the shaded area from the one tile. But how many tiles would you have? Since it's 8 foot by 10 foot, then 1 foot by 1 foot tile will be used 80 of them, because 8 in one side and then 10 on the other side. So when you multiply them, it covers 80 of them. So our answer will be 80 times of that. Then it becomes 80 minus 20 pi, which is choice A. Number 9. One fair die has face of these, and another has face of these. Now, what is the probability that their sum will be odd? How can you have the sum to be odd? Then from the first one, we could have even, and from the second one, we could have odd. Or from the first one, we could have odd, and from the second one, we could have even. And I believe that's about it. Then in that case, what's going to be happening? So from the first one, what is the probability of getting even? There will be simply 1/3. What's the probability of getting odd here? It will be only 5, which is also 1/3. Then we end up getting 1/9. How about what's the probability of getting even? There will be 2/3. Odd will be 2/3 from here, and probability of getting even in this case will be 2/3 also. So the probability will be 4/9. But we can get odd through this way or this way, so we have to add up those two probability. Our final answer becomes 5/9 becomes our answer, which is choice D. Alright, let's look at number 10 together. So in a triangle, AC is equal to BC. So it seems like we are looking at an isosceles triangle. So each side is about 7. Now, but AB is equal to 2 right over here. Suppose that D is a point. So if I were to write this one down, A, B, C, and 7, 7, 2. But D is a point on that line AB, such that B is between A and D. So that means, in fact, there it goes. This one has to be extended a bit further like this, in a way that CD is equal to 8. Oh, so CD equals 8, then it can be much further. Oh, CD is equal to 8. Oh, I'm sorry. So I'm going to bring this one in. So that CD is equal to 8. That means I'm going to have another line segment that comes from here to here. That's equal to 8. Alright, now, after setting this picture up, our question is, what is BD? That's our question mark right over here, X. Alright, how are we going to do it? One thing which we can do here is that, what if we were to drop an altitude? Because in an isosceles triangle, altitude divides the isosceles triangle into 2 equal parts. In a way that here this becomes 1 and this becomes 7. So by the Pythagorean theorem, this H will now be, I'm just going to set it up, 1 squared plus H squared is equal to 7 squared. Then H squared we get to realize to be 48. But we can do exactly the same thing using a big triangle over here. That's the height. This one. So from this yellow triangle, you can easily see that H squared plus, we know that to be 48, 1 plus X squared is equal to 8 squared. Then what do we end up getting? Here 48 plus 1 plus 8 squared, 1 plus X squared, and then 64. So as we subtract 48 from both sides, we get to realize that 1 plus X squared is equal to 16. Then wait a minute. Then you get to realize that 1 plus X, has to be equal to 4. Then what's the value of X? X must be equal to 3. So 3 becomes our answer. Alright, So we'll stop here, and then we'll continue on the next video.